Good morning and welcome to our final Cranley Community Talk of this year. I would just like to take a moment at the beginning of this talk to offer my condolences to our whole UAE community on the death of Sheikh Khalifa. Our thoughts are with you as we mourn together. Now, as ever, these talks are supported by our wonderful Cranley Community Committee, and it was great to see so many of you face-to-face on Monday when we visited the Minaret Al Sadiat, and thank you to Lart and to Madia for hosting us as we looked at the Disconnect, Reconnect art exhibition. It's well worth a visit. If you can pop on there, I think it's on until June the 17th, so please make sure you do go and have a look. And now, we've done a number of these talks this year, and if we go back to the beginning when I first started introducing these from my predecessor, Miss Williams, we've had some outstanding speakers on a range of issues. If we go all the way back to September, we spoke to Louise Treherne from Role Models UK about character building in our children. We then heard from our wonderful Tori Blackadder, who is our school counsellor, about how to spot some common mental health issues in our children. And then we heard from Dr. Atik from the Priory, and he spoke to us about the science and the power of kindness. As we then went into that 3 weeks of school shutdown, if you remember, in January, we spoke to the inimitable Dr. Louise Lambert, and I hope you are all still drinking the good coffee and eating the good cheese. If you watch that talk, you'll know what I mean. And I think finally then in March, we spoke to a good friend of mine, Justin Thomas, Professor Thomas from Zayed University, who spoke to us about mindfulness. Now, it would be very wrong to say that we've saved the best till last. And obviously you can go back and you can look at any of those talks. They're on our YouTube channel. But I did, when I first got this job, when I first took this role, one of the first people who popped into my head that I'd like to come and speak to our community was the lady who's going to speak to you in a few moments. Now, she is many things. Some of you have obviously seen her bio, and if you haven't, then absolutely feel free to Google her, because there's a lot of Google entries from Grazia magazine to her website. She is, as I've said, many things. She's made many achievements, and I hope she does tell us about some of them. But by her role, she is a clinical nutritionist. Is that right? I hope she'll tell me in a minute. She's a naturopath. She's a wellness coach. She has a PhD in science and nutrition, and specifically something to do with stress, which again, she might have to explain. She's got over 20 years working in the UK and the UAE. And she is, and this is just her little claim to fame, I think it's something that, you know, most people know about, but she's business partner and friend to Elle Macpherson. And she's trusted with the health and well-being of many high-profile clients. I'm sure some of them she's not allowed to talk about, but I know that, you know, she's helped many people to lead healthier and better lives. What people might not know about Dr. Simone is that she's a mother of 3 wonderful children who I have had the pleasure of knowing. She runs an orphanage. And I hope she doesn't mind me telling that, but that's part of what she does as well. And she is just an all-round wonderful, funny and kind human being. So I hope that's not too much of an introduction, but I am absolutely delighted to welcome her to our community. And we will have the pleasure of meeting her in person on Monday. I'll give you more details about that, but I'll just bring her into the chat if she can fit in, because that's a lot of an introduction. Dr. Simone, are you there? Your screen is black. Can you hear me? Let me just try again. We're just having a few problems with the feed. There you are. It's just lagging slightly. Now, I know you're not in Australia. Did this a few moments ago when we trialed this. I'm just going to wait a few moments and see if your internet can catch up with us, Dr. Simone, because I know you're only in Dubai, so we're not too far, but it does seem to be lagging. Could you try? Let me try taking you out and popping you back in again. We had it working perfectly. The joys of technology. Dr. Simone, can you hear me? Well, we can see you again. Okay, we seem to be having a few technical issues. I actually said this morning we've done so well this year having no technical issues, and now on our last talk we actually have some. Let me just send Dr. Simone a WhatsApp. See if she can turn it off and turn it back on again. That usually helps, doesn't it? I'll try one more time. Dr. Simone, are you there? So just while we're waiting for the internet to catch up with us, one of the things that Dr. Simone has done is create a guide for you as parents. So I'll be popping that onto the newsletter. There is a link that you can then go onto where it has a specific guide of all the things that she's going to talk about today, as soon as we can get her actually into the call. So I'll be popping that on. Please look out for the link in the newsletter. You do sign up, and then obviously the guide can be downloaded. I'm hoping that she is there and she is able to be heard. But unfortunately, it seems like not. Oh, you're moving. You're excellent. You're with us.
Yes. Yay! I've been here. I can hear you the whole time. I think I just had to wait for you to.
Okay, I'm hoping it wasn't just me and everyone else could hear you, but I'm getting some. I'm getting some WhatsApps. I'm getting some WhatsApps from people in the UK actually who are watching, saying, "Try her without the video and just audio." Thank you for that, Miss Colette. But I think we're good now. So I'm really, really excited for you to join us. I hope the introduction wasn't too much. But it's really good. So how are you? You're in Dubai now, so obviously that's not where you live normally.
Yeah, well, we lived in Abu Dhabi for 7 years, and then my granny actually turned 95. So we've been in Australia on a bit of a working holiday and sabbatical and having some family time. I think that's one thing we definitely learned with COVID, isn't it? That the importance of health and the importance of family. So absolutely. We are in Australia for a little while, and I still love coming back to the UAE. It feels like home because we've been here for so long. So it's really great to be back, and I'm excited to be with you face to face in Abu Dhabi next Monday.
Excellent. So I'm going to pop out of the call, Simone. I'm going to let you carry on and speak to our parents. But I will come back in at the end. If anyone has any questions, there are 3 different ways that we can get the questions to us. So if you pop them onto the live chat on YouTube, or you can pop them on the Facebook page. And thank you, Angela is in the background, and she will be adding them for me. Or if it's a question that you might not want to be live to the whole world, you can send me an email, and I'll just keep checking my emails as well. So my email address is in my title there, Director of Wellbeing, if you do want to just pop me a quick email. And like I said, the great thing about this talk is that you're going to be joining us. So if people don't have questions now, but they want to talk to you on Monday, we're going to be up at Jumeirah Saadiyat Hotel, and we're going to be welcoming you face to face to our coffee morning. So I can't wait to see you in person again. And I'm just going to go out now, and I'll be back hopefully to ask some questions at the end. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Liz. Hi, everybody. It's so lovely to be here. And today we're going to be talking about a topic which is very dear to my heart, obviously, being a mother of 3 as well and understanding the dynamics. I think particularly over the last few years, it's been a lot of change and a lot of stress on ourselves and particularly on our children and online learning. So I think now more than ever, we need to support our children to have mind-body balance, because my job as a naturopathic doctor and nutritionist is always to support the parents and to support the children so that their life feels easier, that their exams feel easier, their sports feel easier, they can cope with the dynamics of all the social interaction of school, that everything feels easier. And I think as a parent, there's no real greater gift, is there, that you really want to be setting your child up to win and strengthening them and meeting them where they're at. So for us at Rejuve, as Liz said, I've been treating patients for 25 years. We still have our clinic at 25 Harley Street in London. Pre-COVID, I was bouncing in and out of London. Now it seems to all be Zooms, and I haven't been over there yet, but I'll be going back there as well. And I'll be, even though we're in Australia at the moment, having some time with family, I'll be back here in the UAE every 3 months. But as I said, everything, the world became super small after these last few years, and working on Zoom and things like this. So that's great. So for myself, as a naturopathic doctor, I always look at the patient holistically. And after doing this for so many years, I developed my own 7 pillars of wellness. And whether it's a child or an adult, if we take a step back and we look at your child and all the moving parts as to what makes them mentally and physically well, then it's almost like a roadmap, and we can always be going back to that. And I should say that if you find the 7 pillars a bit overwhelming, and we'll unpack them, and as I said, there's a full support guide, so everything I'm going to be speaking about today will be documented, and every single pillar will have all the tips that I'm going to be suggesting, scientifically sound. I'm a bit of a geek. I'm doing another PhD at the moment in neuroscience, so I'm loving the brain at the moment. So everything I do is always going back to the science and making sure it's good research that it's reproducible, reliable research that you can implement, and always evolving, of course, because things change. But I must say that we also will be giving you the link. We have a free wellness quiz. So if you do feel a bit overwhelmed thinking, gosh, 7 things to think about with my child, with our free quiz, it actually, based on about 5 minutes answering some questions, it'll give you a free report on what are the top 3 things for yourself or for your child that you need to focus on to help scale up their wellness. So I'll have a go here at sharing my screen just as a summary on here, so that you can have an idea. Let me see here if I can share this here. If not, as I said, it's let's see if I pop over to this and it works. There we go. Let me see if you can see that. It's not overly clear, but don't worry about that.
It's not coming up, Simone.
Yeah, I think we'll just, all right. I'll just, as I said, I'll talk about it, and I will, as I said, we have a beautiful document for you, and it's a nice visual, but I'll explain. We'll go on a bit of a journey, but the 7 pillars to start off with. Number 1, it's nutrition. Number 2, it's sleep. We all know the value of sleep. It's medicine and how the body heals. Supplementation is also key. You don't need to have a lot of supplements for a child, but with over farming, I mean, even if you're at the Spinneys, you can see it's United Nations almost from where all our food comes from. There's some great local produce at the moment as well, which is great. But just from over farming and the world becoming more toxic, we need some key foundational supplements in addition to a good healthy diet. Obviously, movement. We need to make sure we're exercising and choosing something we love, which I'll go into. And then also body balance. A lot of people don't realize that your body, it's almost like the infrastructure, like the scaffolding of a building, your spine and how your actual skeletal structure is, and your posture. It's something now, my husband works in backs and necks and orthopedics. They're calling it texting neck because there's so many people, on devices and getting quite kyphotic in their back. So making sure the child's posture is good, because if your posture is not good, there's not enough space. For example, even on the left-hand side is your stomach, right-hand side liver. So making sure posture and the structure of the body is in balance. Mindfulness. We do a lot of work, and you've already had a lecture on mindfulness. It's so important to support your child to, stay in today, to trust God and to let things go, and make sure that they have those tools. We'll be going into that as well, so they can really understand the world won't end if they, don't get the mark they wanted for a paper. They've done their best, they study, but we take all that stress out of that, as well as environmental health, because everything you use, your skin's like your 3rd kidney. So everything you put on your skin, from a body cream, a sunblock, particularly over here, the type of shampoo and conditioner will also affect your child. It actually affects their toxic load, which impacts the kidney, the liver, and the gallbladder, which has a big range of effects on and the immune system. So we want to be looking at these different pillars so that we have this mind-body balance. And unless we get all of that in flow, it doesn't have to be exhausting, doesn't have to be, have to go out and do another master's degree in, oh my gosh, 7 pillars. I'm going to make it really easy today. And as I said, the support document is there, which will have, as every single tip that I'm going to talk about today. But first of all, I want to talk about nutrition, because it's something we all have to eat. Your child has to eat. And it's something which is, like Hippocrates said, food is medicine. And we can actually use food at a cellular level to strengthen our children. So when it comes to food, number one, you want to be looking for whole foods. What does that mean? It means that basically, if it looks like it did in nature, by the time it gets to your plate, it's a whole food. A banana, an apple, some lettuce, some spinach, a tomato, versus maybe, and even having a potato, versus pasta, which is wheat grown in a field, processed into a pretty shape, and then on your table. For example, rice is rice. So you're always looking to see for more of a whole food diet so that you can increase the nutrition at a cellular level, because you want bioavailable ingredients. Now, I think when it comes to the toxic load with our food, it's really important. If you have to make a choice, and it's hard to get everything organic, we all have to do our best. We have to believe that our best is good enough and trust God that in the universe that the rest is going to be okay. But if we do our best, but you have to think, if you're going to eat the skin, it's very important to buy organic, say tomato, where maybe if you're not going to eat the skin, then organic banana would not be as important. So that's a really good way, melon versus a berry. But once again, doing the best you can. And then when it comes to animals, it's really, really important for animal protein. We get wild line-caught fish, or we get an organic hormone-free chicken and meat, things like that. Just because we as humans have our own natural estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, men as well. We all have those 3 hormones in different ratios. And we don't want our daughters to be excessive estrogen because they get their periods early. That can affect their mood. They become very irritable and feeling really overwhelmed. And then the boys, we don't want them to have excessive estrogen from the meat, because they can even get what they call in the UK man boobs. But more importantly, if they're too high estrogen, yes, of course, it leads to excessive body fat for men and women as well. But more importantly, they're going to feel very flat, and they're going to kind of pull back from their sports, from their learning, and just feel, as I said, feeling quite flat. And we want, our kids to be really supercharged and feeling amazing. So when it comes to animal protein, eggs as well, I'm really fussy on the organic. And then the fruits and veggies, we do the best we can. I mean, I think, particularly when we were living here, I loved going into Spinneys and finding all the local produce still with dirt and sand all over it, and the gagia and all the leaves. I'm just like, well, that's, very close to being as it is in nature. So, supporting the local community, supporting the local produce, that would be great. So whole food. And then when it comes to and cleaning up the pesticides, also to a great fast track you can do if you kind of think, gosh, I haven't been able to get organic. Well, great thing you can do is fill up your sink with filtered water and add in some cloudy apple cider vinegar, throw your fruit and veg in there, soak it for about 5 to 10 minutes, wash it off, and at least that'll remove a lot of the eggs, the pesticides, and bacterial load on your food as well, and dry it off. So that's just a really good fast track, a peace of mind with good old vinegar to clean up your produce and remove some of that wax and pesticide particularly. So, okay, so we're starting with a whole food. So then what we want is ratios. So in our document that I've created for the Cranley parents is I've given the formula for body mass index, which is height to weight. But you would know without even having to weigh your child or going to any particular formula. It's there for you if you'd like to use it. But you will know if your child is a little bit underweight, is an average weight, or a little bit overweight. And I don't get into dieting with children. I really feel it's the wrong area. I had anorexia and bulimia as a child. I was a very, very overweight child and was teased for my weight, and then ended up, had no tools when I was in high school, and ended up using starvation. So I'm really passionate about freeing children up from going through years and years of misery. And that's why I got into this as a career, because I thought, gosh, surely there must be a way. My brother and sister were really skinny and I was really overweight. There must be something wrong with me. Yes, I was hypoglycemic. My dad's diabetic. No one put two and two together, and I couldn't stop eating. So I'm really passionate about child nutrition and empowering your child, and saying you want to feel well, you want to have a flat tummy, you don't want to be gassy and having tummy pains, you want to feel good doing your sports, you want to feel like you can concentrate well, and your cognition and your memories well. So I always come in from that angle when I treat a child, that it's all about having great energy and feeling great. It's not about their weight, because I think it's really the wrong focus. So when it comes to that, and in your child, whether it's whether you feel your child is, as I said, a little bit under normal, a little bit over. So when it comes to the visualization of the plate, what you want to be doing is your protein to carbohydrate ratio. Now, fruits and vegetables, I always say, are unlimited. I feel if your child does suffer with secret eating or binge eating or has excessive body weight, then I would say you can Google this, and it's also on the sheet on your handout, of having fruits of a glycemic index, a sugar rating, the speed at which it affects the blood sugar levels, of 50 or less. So an apple, a peach, a pear, berries, things like that. So a couple of pieces of fruit a day, encouraging them to eat more vegetables, not because I'm anti-fruit, but if we encourage them also to have raw carrot and raw cucumbers, just to get that balance. So fruits and veggies, make it fun. If your child doesn't like cooked veggies, have raw veggie sticks and crudité, and slowly, but don't be forcing them to sit there for hours with a piece of broccoli and having this battle. It does create food aversion. So make it fun. Choose the colors they like. Trial and error as well is really, but as I said, if you make it fun or a bit into a game, then children will appreciate that. So when you're looking at the visual, so the main two macronutrients, the food groups that need to be balanced for mind-body balance, is your protein to complex carbohydrate. Simple carbohydrates we mentioned is your fruits and veggies. So when you're looking at the plate, and if your child is underweight, then what you want to be doing is having about a hand size, because your child's hand is also anatomically correct for them. So if you have a 5-year-old, their hand is smaller. If you have a 15-year-old, their hand is bigger. So a great visual and a tool for parents is to kind of think, okay, how big is your child's hand? So a fist, or if you cut the hand off, but I think a fist works pretty well for most children. So we look at the fist of protein. So if you need your child to put on a little bit of weight, you want to then have the fist of protein there, and then you want to have double, so 2 fists of complex carbohydrate. That's your pasta, that's your potato, that's your rice, your couscous, for example. So if your child has a good body fat level, they're performing at sports, they're not feeling too tired, but their body fat per se is balanced, then you want a 1-to-1 ratio. If you feel your child is a bit sluggish, you've noticed that maybe they're having issues with food, they're gaining weight, they've got a bit of shame, and they're feeling quite self-conscious. Once again, we don't go down the diet road. We don't shame and say, why are you eating all of that? You're going to get too chubby or whatever. We don't do any of that. We want to set your child up to win and be their biggest cheerleader. So if you do start to see that happen with one of my youngest, actually, because she had gluten intolerance and all sorts of tummy issues, and she was getting a really swollen, distended belly and gaining quite a lot of weight around her tummy. Now I know, unlike my parents didn't know and kept on shoveling us and feeding us all the same things, and I got bigger and bigger, and my brother and sister got smaller and smaller. So my little one, Mimi, my 10-year-old, has had the same issues as me: blood sugar irregularity and gluten intolerance. And you can go to, if you have a concern like that, you can go to as a doctor. There's some great pediatrician at Harley Street Medical, actually, Dr. Joanna, but you can find your own doctor. But basically what you want to be doing is having the protein and then the complex carbohydrate would be half the portion. Now, the caveat on that, so that's your fish or chicken, for example, and there's your rice or potato. The thing with that, though, is that I prefer, maybe the children who are a little bit overweight are finding it difficult to wake up in the mornings. And if you still have that much complex carb, it might be really hard to get them to school on time. So I prefer for those children maybe having the pita bread with the lunch, having the rice with the lunch, having the potato with the lunch, having the oats with for the breakfast cereal. And once again, breakfast cereal, if it's an oat or a Rice Krispie, if it looks more like it did in nature, it's healthier, like a muesli and oats versus something which is Cocoa Pops or chocolate cereal, which is not ideal. So for those children as well, as I said, who are a little bit overweight or very sluggish in the morning, I would bump those carbohydrates, rice, bread, potato, pasta, before 5. Then in the evening, I would have the chicken, the salad, the meat, the fish, the hummus, the avocado, the soups. I would be having more of those type of things. Sweet potatoes, swapping out your potato for sweet potato or pumpkin, swapping out your couscous for your quinoa. You can also buy now pasta made from lentils. So there's a lot of things you can swap. And if you're not sure, I said, please email me, or if your child is in a bit of a pickle, we can book a Zoom consultation. But that's a really good ballpark so that you can support your child as far as body fat goes, plus you're getting maximum nutrition. And then a few extra things on nutrition-wise, chewing their food, slowing down, not having 3 glasses of water, maximum 1 glass of water with their food, and as well, trying to leave 2 to 3 hours between eating and sleeping to support the digestive system. So that's on the nutrition side. And then sleep. So once again, if you kind of late and then you're going to bed and you've got full tummies and they're going to bed, they're not going to sleep as well. So ideally trying to finish the meal 2 to 3 hours between eating and sleeping, and making sure the room is not too hot. I think here it's quite amazing with the AC, and making sure it's around about 18 to 20 degrees. And very, very key is if the child has lamps on their bedside tables, turn them off at the wall. We as humans are very sensitive to these environments with all this Wi-Fi. We can't escape it. It is what it is. But the electrical circuits, because a human as well as children are 60% water, we are impacted by all of these electrical leads. So as a result, what you want to be doing is turning the bedside tables off at the wall, having their phones and their devices on airplane mode and at least 3 meters away from their brain. In the brain, you have the pineal glands, like the conductor of the whole body. If you're surrounded by Wi-Fi and lamps and electricity and teenagers sleeping with their phones under their pillow, that is impacting the pineal gland, because there's radiation emitted from the phone you cannot see with the naked eye, which goes for 3 meters. Fatigue, irritability, learning issues, all from too many positive ions. They need negative ions. Feet on the sand, feet on the grass, get out to nature, turn off their Wi-Fi, play Uno, get out the cards, get them off devices, get back to a bit of old-fashioned style like maybe when we were raised. But really, really key, particularly with grounding, getting their feet on the earth. And when they're sleeping. Now, in our house, we turn the Wi-Fi off every night. Just because, as I said, I'm doing another PhD in neuroscience and I'm a bit of a geek and I like to research these things. Ideally, that would be the best. Flip it off at the wall. Whoever wakes up in the morning the earliest, you turn it on. It's not a hardship. You have to wait 5 minutes for your Wi-Fi, but that will have a massive impact on your immune system, because sleep was designed to heal the body from the day you've just had. It's always emptying your cup and detoxifying, and it's giving the body a chance to reset itself. If the body's always constantly trying to pick up with the electrical circuits and the Wi-Fi, it's like the body doesn't have that total chance to rest. Now, if you've got teenagers and other children or partners or yourself working late, then really no one should be working later than midnight. I run an international business. We're in 60 countries around the world with our Reju supplements that I've formulated. I work in most major time zones. I'm in bed normally by 11 or at least midnight. I still make sure I have that cut off and there's a good 6 to 8 hours with no Wi-Fi in the home. So I know it's a bit of an adjustment, but even your teenagers really shouldn't be working beyond that, and we need to turn the Wi-Fi off. So that's what it comes down to. Environmental health. I said everything you put on your skin, try to be using more natural things. You can use avocado oil, you can use coconut oil. There's so many nut oils you can use, amazing for your hair as well, avocado oil, which is brilliant. So you can also be using oils which you would cook with or use, also is great for moisturizers, things like that. But there's so many amazing organic stores now, and you can buy organic products for your skin, your sunblock, deodorant, and particularly this is more so for the mums, but please make sure that you do choose an organic natural deodorant, or I use a salt rock, and then training up your children as well when they get into their teens of using a deodorant, because most deodorants are antiperspirants and they block the lymph nodes under the arm. Now that's very dangerous for women. My first PhD was in nutrition, but pertained to oxidative stress and cancer. So we have to be very careful with blocking the lymph link and that link to breast cancer. So good for the mums, good for the daughters, good for everybody, and to be using natural deodorant. That's really, really key on the environmental health. The air we breathe, the water we drink, we can get great little shower filters from Ace Hardware here in the UAE with the vitamin C filters. So being mindful of our environment, not getting obsessive, not panicking, but thinking, okay, once that product is finished, I'll swap out to something natural. Having your air conditioning vents cleaned regularly, things like that. So your environment, what sort of air. And what I love, you see, I don't know if you can see, you can't quite see, over there in the corner in every area. I'm at in our villa here at the moment at my beautiful friend's house, encouraging always in our home and whenever I go to my friend's house, of buying lilies and green plants on your bedside tables as well. So amazing to oxygenate you and your children while you're sleeping. So really, really key for the environmental health, and particularly if your child has eczema, asthma, any sort of skin rashes, then we need to clean up their environment and look at the ratio of probably the dairy products that they're getting in as well, because that's one thing. It's in the handout, but I meant to say, of course, not only the egg, but when it comes to dairy products like yogurt, it's very important that you buy organic, because once again, it's humans' fault, not the cow's fault. We're putting in a lot of hormones into the animals and antibiotics to protect the animals from getting sick, but then that comes in and has a negative impact on our microbiome. Okay, so the next topic, movement. Make it fun. My business partner, Elle McPherson, years ago said to me, she came to me as a patient 10 years ago in London, and I was just like, oh, I'm in such a rut. I love to horse ride, and it's tricky here in London. And she really encouraged me to not exercise anymore. In fact, I was out doing yoga this morning in the garden, using intuition and things they love. If the kids want to try a water sport, if the kids want to do something fun and dancing around the house and you put some music on, getting a trampoline in your back garden, or mini rebounders, that's amazing if your child has stress or gets overwhelmed. Even if sometimes we do times tables with our kids and they're like, oh my gosh, my brain is fried. Jump and bounce. Great for you as well, for your lymphatic system, and great for your children. But change the state. Make it fun, make it enjoyable, and just ask them, would you like to try cycling? Would you like to try, even here in Abu Dhabi, that we used to go to the ice skating rink all the time. We all loved it and became quite good at it because it was just such a nice thing to do. Bowling, I mean, it doesn't have to be, okay, well, no, you need to be on the bike for 30 minutes. Make it fun. Make it about movement. Make it about getting your heart rate up, and make it, because you're making it fun, the exercise itself and the laughter oxygenates your body. So laughter is one of the best things for your immune system and your health, and to shake off stress, because it does affect you and boost your immune system and impact your health at a cellular level. So as I said, movement, make it fun. Maybe it's yoga. Maybe your child wants to start with breath work and Pilates, but don't forget the good funny DVDs and online Netflix, because laughter is such great medicine, as I said, to oxygenate the body. And then, as well as that, for movement, I feel that if you're encouraging something which you do most days versus, okay, 3 times a week, I'm going to go and take you to the gym or do some training or an after school activity. We're kind of thinking out the box. What can we do every day to move? And as I said, that could be dancing around the house. It could be a structured sport, but we have to make it fun. And even, as I said, just putting on some fun music and having a giggle around the house for 20 minutes. They won't even notice the time frame, and it'll be really enjoyable. But the joy behind, and it will be trial and error. Maybe you enroll in 1 month gymnastics and then next semester it's going to be swimming, or maybe it changes all the time and you mix it up. But really encourage your child that it's about fun. It's not about weight loss. It's not about dieting. It's about helping them reduce their stress. It's about making them feel happier. It's balancing their mood. It's balancing their hormones. So helps you concentrate more, makes their learning easier. So you always want to be coming in from that type of conversation and dialogue. I don't want to exercise, but don't you want to feel better? Don't you want to have more energy? Don't you want your tummy to feel better? Don't you want your learning to have less time studying, to remember more? Absolutely. Every child will say, yes, mum and dad. What do I need to do so I can study less and my grades can be better? Because that really is what we're doing, is we're supporting the human that is growing. Yes, we have the learning. Yes, we have the sports. Yes, we have to do well academically. Of course we do, and the best we can. But we're growing a balanced, amazing human who has an amazing destiny on the planet, and we're just here to, our children are on loan to us, aren't they? And we're just here to help encourage them and move them into all that they're destined to be. So yeah, make the movement fun. If they're sweating a bit, getting a bit warm, a bit pink in the cheeks, but I think 30 minutes most days, even if it's something silly, dancing around the kitchen, it creates the habit, because it takes 3 weeks to make or break a habit. So maybe for parents, the first 3 weeks, it's like they're going to be resisting and it won't be so easy. But there's online classes you can get on and do, and there's home exercise bike, and they can also do a class. There's so many fun things they can do, but you have to stick with it for the first 3 weeks, and just know and explain to them, look, it won't maybe be that easy for the first 3 weeks, but then it's going to get fun and they're going to love the feeling. So, and that's what we're always doing. When they eat healthy even after 1 week, but after 3 weeks, oh my gosh, I'm feeling better, I'm sleeping better, you'll see your children fighting less, things like that. So, so into that, but know that there is that 3 weeks to make or break a habit. And then the next category is mindfulness. I know you've already had a lecture on this, but this is obviously something I'm really extra passionate about now because of what everyone's gone through with COVID. I'm treating so many children and so many parents post-traumatic stress disorder. They've just found this whole shift very difficult. They're in emergency mode, they're overwhelmed, they've maybe disconnected with some friends, and when we get stressed, it's just by thinking, oh my gosh, an exam is coming. We haven't gone anywhere. We haven't done the exam. We haven't even walked into school. But the thought of something stressful, maybe it's a stressful relationship at school and their child's having issue with, friend groups. Maybe it's stressing about school. Maybe it's about exams. Maybe it's stressing about a sports event coming up. Whatever it is. Maybe it's their own self-confidence. Whatever it is, we need to always be going back to strengthen your child, because just the thought alone, we now know with neuroscience, your heart rate goes up, adrenaline is released, cortisol is released. So for children who have weight issues like a fat magnet, particularly belly fat around their tummy, and they can just feel overwhelmed because the body was designed to be in emergency mode for moments. A tiger runs at you, you fight or flee. So we weren't designed to be pitching a tent and living in this much stress, whether it's a stressful email, stressful exam. It's in our mind, but it's reacting as if, and our body responds as if there is a truck coming, as if there is a tiger in front of us. Now, we need to give our children the tools to take a breath. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? You've got this exam. Okay, so what's the worst going to happen? Will someone get injured? No. Is your life in danger? No. Will something happen to us? No. Okay, it's an exam. It's serious, but nothing serious is going to happen. Take a breath. So encourage a child. Take a breath. And what I often call, when I treat a patient, I call it your island. So example, Liz, I'll just go, retreat to Liz's island. Or my Isabella was getting stressed the other day, she had an exam. Retreat to Bella's island. Take a breath. Disconnect from the stress. Nothing serious is going to happen. It's an exam. We take it seriously, but we don't have to be overwhelmed. Take a breath. And then we put it into perspective. Then we start the exam. Then we deal with the friend issue. Then we unpack it. We're just teaching them, instead of being in this overwhelm, oh my gosh, mama, it's too hard. Take a breath. What's the worst that can happen? Nothing really. I'm not going to get injured or hurt or nothing serious. Okay, fine. Take a breath. Distance. And then I often say to all ages, including when I treat children, what's the name of your best friend? Okay, so one of my best friends here is Evelina. So I think if you hear a negative, because often it's all internal with our children, just like adults, they can be thinking, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not slim enough, I'm not, and their self-worth can be, and their self-confidence can need some support. So, and most of us are blessed with a good friend, and often say, what would Evelina say to me now? She'd say, oh my gosh, you're great. You're going to be great this morning. This is good. Don't be nervous. Like she did, like all friends would say, they would cheer you on and support you. So I often say to even the children, I say, my Isabella, for example, best friend's called Skylar. What would Skylar say to you? Oh, she'd say, I'm great. She'd say, I'm going to nail this exam. She'd say, da, 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 da. So encouraging, making it really relatable. They already have good relationships. Or what would my mum say to me now? That's inner critic. That's negative thinking. That's not the truth. And from the get-go, from when our children are still in school, renewing their mind, encouraging that, no, this is my self-worth. I know I am. I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of peace. I'm worthy of success with this. This exam's going to be easy. They're going to do the work. Don't get me wrong. They're going to go in, not do any revision, and and think they're going to get top marks. But it's about encouraging our children with their self-worth. We even do on the school runs declarations. I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of peace. I'm worthy of joy. And we do different declarations on the school run, which is so lovely. And I can give you a script if you'd like, if you want to reach out to us. But it's just, train a child up the way you want them to go. Strengthen them up, bolster them up, tell them, how well they're doing, how bright they are. And I even write mine emails, especially being here. I'm writing them emails to their school emails and encouraging them and telling them, I'm praying for you and I'm believing for you and your exams are going to be great. And I'm so proud of who you're growing into. So I think we can really be our child's biggest cheerleader. But sometimes the children won't believe it from mum and dad, but they'll believe it from a teacher or when they have good friends. Oh yeah, you know what? Muna would say that to me, Hind would say this to me or that to me, or, Abdullah or Harry, so it's about not always, they won't always believe us, but the mindfulness, using breath, separating themselves. If they need to, I often say with kids getting overwhelmed at the kitchen table, oh my gosh, my times table, get up and bounce. Get up and cross crawl. Cross crawl is one of the best things. Opposite hand to knee to connect your child's left and right brain. And also on that, actually, before an exam, please don't give sugary cereals and toast and Nutella before an exam. Eggs on toast, protein with toast, smoked salmon on toast, because the protein will help the child's brain and blood sugar levels balance. And then the avocado and the toast and things like that is the carbohydrate. But please don't let them go off with no breakfast or with sugary cereals or jam, and maybe they take cheese on toast. That's going to be protein as well. But make sure you set them up. And also said the cross crawls, opposite arm to leg, which is great for mindfulness, stress, as well as pre-exams. Okay, so and then continuing on with our 7 pillars. When we kind of get all of this story and I'll talk about body balance as the last one in a minute, but when we start to take a step back and think, gosh, is my child sleeping, or is it hard to get them awake? Do they have going to bed with their devices? How much technology and screen time are they having? Are they eating? Are they leaving their salad on the plate, but they're going for other things? Am I finding wrappers and things in their bedroom? Like, just not being a helicopter parent, but just taking a step back and looking at your child from all these angles. Look at them doing their homework on their desk. Are they over like this, like a little meerkat, and are they like this? So thinking about doing exercises, stretching their back, thinking about the posture, putting a really good pillow behind their back, and really trying to not be on them, but encouraging them as to, if you sit up and if you breathe and if you have good posture, then you'll actually be able to, your organs work better, your brain will work better. If they're sitting there, trying to get through their maths homework. So encouraging that. And if you do notice there's scoliosis, if you do, child is complaining of soreness in their body, there's a great physio department my hubby set up in Harley Street Medical down in Marina Village. Amazing team down there, also specializing, Daniela's down there as well, specializing in pediatrics. If you really feel your child's posture needs to, maybe it just takes one session for the physio team to tell your child, because sometimes mum and dad can't say that. But if they go, oh, right, that'll help me breathe better. I can get better flow of energy in my brain for my exams. My cognition, my learning will be easier. Oh, my sports will be easier. Always going back to making everything easier, then that's going to be fantastic. So thinking about body balance, a lot of children have massages. Some people love reflexology, but it doesn't have to be anything, over the top. But be mindful of your child's posture. It really has a massive impact on blood flow to their brain, as well as performance for their sports. So as I said, don't be helicoptering, but just thinking, gosh, yes, my children are really kyphotic, which means their spine is bent over. So of being mindful of the posture. So that's the 7 pillars, as I said. Nutrition, and that's the six pillars. I'll do the last one now, supplementation. But once again, looking at the flow of your child, and I touched on this before, but supplementation is really, really key, because it's very stressful and you can't expect your child to eat something orange and green and pink and rainbow every day. Kids are fussy eaters. They don't like the carrot or the tomato. They'll only eat the cucumber, or, children, and you don't want to have a battle. You don't want to be, in war with your child. So I personally have invented my own supplements, because I got sick of the vitamin industry being synthetic, because a lot of the major brands are not plant-based. So when you look at a supplement on the back, you need to see, does it list plants? Elderberry, elderflower, milk thistle, artichoke, parsley. That's also with whole food supplements. If it says ascorbic acid, zinc, magnesium, that's synthetic. It's just a mineral from a lab. That won't particularly fast track your child's health. So what I love to do for children, I keep it really simple. I love to support their gut with a probiotic, and I have probiotic kids gut sachets, which is so great. Tear it up on yogurt, on fruit juice, on fruits. Tastes like nothing. Brilliant. I even have a lot of children here with Crohn's and diverticulitis, all doing so well. Even one mummy, Maysoon, so she's just off to Jordan for the summer holiday. She's like, send me 6 boxes. I can't leave without having this for my child, because then he's got no pain. So a really good probiotic, because we know that also the serotonin produced in the gut, so making them happy. We know about the immune system, brain axis. So supplement with a good probiotic, as well as that, a good multivitamin. So we have a kids chewable multivitamin, or you can use a capsule with our Immune Restore. It doesn't have to be complicated, but you want it to have the pre and probiotic, the plant-based vitamin C. You want it to have all the antioxidants. And once again, the ingredients, like our products, it says plants. You don't have to buy from us, but you want to be looking at the plant ingredients, and we're all fully registered in the UAE. All the paperwork from Dubai and Abu Dhabi municipalities. So we're all legit, and we have a warehouse here. So it's a local product that we can also support you with. So good multivitamin. And then omega-3. Omega-3 is so great. A lot of kids don't want to eat oily fish every day. So using a really good omega-3, I love little Antarctic krill oil capsules. They're small, tiny beads. They're so easy for the kids to swallow. If not, you just pierce it and you put it on their food. They can't even taste it. So really good omega-3, great for hair, skin, and nails, but imperative for brain function and memory. So, and then the last but not least with children, because I treat a lot of clients, children with obesity and eating issues, is their blood sugar regulation. We don't want them on metformins and getting on medicine. We really want to support them naturally. So I have a blood sugar support capsule with cinnamon and chromium, and once again using artichoke and all the things kids wouldn't normally eat in a capsule form, a vegan little capsule that they can take, which has a massive impact, because if their blood sugar is balanced, they have higher energy, they're not having trouble with their weight, they're feeling more confident, they're able to concentrate more with their learning, and it's a mind-body, supports mind-body balance. So as I said, I have a few things on that line as well, because it's where I've come from with my history, and I treat a lot of children with that. And then last but not least, also with the brain function, you want to be, as I said, particularly with the omega-3s and the essential fatty acids. If they don't like avocado, if they don't like olives, if they don't like those foods, we need to be thinking about an omega-3. So not overwhelming, not a million pills. I don't normally suggest when we have the kids chewable, but the gummy bear type ones, to create them to be tasty, they're loaded with a lot of sugar, not good for the teeth. So up to you, but then they're synthetic. So I haven't come across a gummy bear kids chewable vitamin yet, which is plant-based and doing what it should be doing. It's more like a bit of candy. So be mindful of that, of making sure that you really are supplementing. Good probiotic for gut support, making sure you have the good multivitamin, a chewable, or like in our Immune Restore, easy, once again, tasteless capsule, you can empty over food, the kids won't know, as well as the omega-3, and maybe blood sugar regulation if that's your child. As I said, it's something so easy to fix. It radically changes the child's self-esteem, and it's powerful, and we're using plants. So that's the 7th pillar with supplementation. We can chat with Liz now and see if there's any specific questions. And as I said, we have the full plan, the handout, more details than I've gone into. I wanted to honor your time today, not go into too much, the really details, but really every single bullet point for the nutrition, the visuals, looking at the right supplementation, the movement, the body balance. You can take a step back. And as I said, if that's all a bit, do our free quiz at rejuve.co.uk. Jump on, get your 3 to focus on out of the 7 pillars, and then you're able to support your child to be the best. That's what we want to do as parents, isn't it? We just want our kids to flourish and to be enjoying their life and their school years, and not overwhelmed that this is all too hard. This is a really precious and amazing season of their life. And I think, our parents didn't quite maybe do that. It was just, they didn't realize, but now we have so many tools to really support our children and to really bless this season that they're in.
Thank you, Simone. I knew, obviously, from speaking to you previously, that you have so many different ideas. And I'm really glad that we get to connect face to face on Monday, because there's so many things I want to ask you. Just even since I've spoke to you years ago, and so many things resonate as well. The battle over broccoli is so real in my house. I have one child who'll eat olives and sushi and really high flavored, grown-up things, and then one literally would live off cheeseless pizza and chicken nuggets if they were allowed to, and it's that daily battle. Question for you that's come through.
Yes.
Lunch boxes, right? Lunch boxes can be the absolute bane of our lives as parents, because we want to, schools have rules about what we can and what we can't bring, and obviously what we want to do is send them to school with something that is good for them, that's going to power them on through the day. What do you, I know you do your children's lunch, but what do you send the kids to school?
I still do my kids' lunch boxes. I'm still one of those mums. I love doing that. Okay, so what we want to be looking at are a couple of things. Number one, let's start with snack time, first break time. So if your child is quite hungry, is can be a little bit not concentrating so well. And I mean, if you've got most of our kids need support with concentration, and they need support with energy levels, so they're mind body balance. So I'm always thinking about the piece of fruit, which is great, your apple or pear, whatever. And then, I mean, in most countries now, is there still an issue with nuts? Are they still banned in the UAE?
Yeah, we're a nut-free school.
Yeah, so basically what you can do, have you seen at the spinnies in the shops the wow butter? It's called wow butter. Okay, so it's like a peanut butter, but it's vegan. So you can get things like that, and they can dip their apple into the peanut butter, because what you're trying to do is look for the protein. You can get the carrot sticks, get the little bucky and put it actually in with the hummus. We're always trying to think. We can use seeds, because a lot, not sesame seeds, because that's difficult, but pumpkin seeds and sunflower we can always use. But it's always thinking, okay, here's my fruit, where is my protein? Little yogurts, little Yakult type things, little organic yogurts they can actually have. Always thinking, right, how can I get a little bit of protein in? Like we said, before they leave, particularly if it's exams, eggs on toast if they have an allergy, avocado on toast or beans on toast, food, tamaya with falafel, things like that with the protein, and always choosing like the bread, the pizzas, the Aish Baladi Arabic breads. You guys know the locals here know more than us when it comes to bread. That is the lowest glycemic index. So when it's then coming for the lunch, look for more of a whole meal and the browner breads. But as I said, the pita bread is fantastic. It's one of the lowest glycemic index. Kids love it. You can make all sorts of things in there with the wrap, but trying to think, where's the protein? So good cognition, mind-body balance. Maybe it's the tuna, maybe it's the turkey, maybe it's leftover chicken, maybe it's egg. Looking to see once again, but you won't set your child up to win with a jam sandwich. Weekends, jam and croissant for breakfast where they don't need their brain, absolutely, enjoy. Do the all-you-can-eat buffet. Do the big Friday. Oh, no, probably Saturdays. But do the big weekend breakfast. But, when they don't need their brain, but when they're at school, be thinking about the hummus, the yogurt, the wow butter, the vegan version of the peanut butter, thinking about the little falafels, thinking about the hummus, thinking about where can I get the protein to marry in. And as I said, I just find my kids still to this day, after living here for so long, love to have the wraps. Or I said they love the brown bread as well. But I think having the wraps for lunch is a godsend. Maybe you send them side and they dip it into with the pita. Maybe it's with the crudité. Maybe they love raw peppers, all the different colors. Maybe it's grapes with some cheese on the side, and mix it up. Kids, I normally have a bit of a schedule so that every day is a little bit different. And then if I'm there, or my hubby, or with our housekeeper, whoever's doing it, it's like trying to also, you can get those little sugar snap peas now and veggie crisps, trying to go to the supermarket with your kids, get the basket. What do you fancy? Okay, well, then normal crisps are not so good. Would you consider doing a lentil crisp? Would you consider doing a corn chip? Go shopping with your kids.
Yeah.
There's so many good protein bars out, little protein balls. And then on our website, on our blog as well, which is also in our guide, are our Rejuve muffins, almond-based, chuck in some chocolate chips. My kids love them, all different flavors, blueberries, make up a batch for the week. My kids always get a muffin of some variety. Delicious, great for parents, great for your kids. So there's resource in there as well on the guide. But get your kids involved. Yeah. Make it fun.
Amazing. So do you think, and again, this is the question that's come in, are there any bad foods that you would never let your children have? Like, keep it real. Do you ever let them go to McDonald's?
I do, because I feel that if I'm laying a great foundation, we don't go every week. We'll go for a special occasion, or they have a sleepover and it's a birthday. Can we go? I'm like, totally. So I prefer most weekends to go to a proper burger place or have proper ice cream versus the really junky fast foodie. Have chicken and chips, have fish and chips versus the classic, really low quality fast food. But, pizzas, always have a pizza night during the week. So I feel it's the trans fats, which are really, really bad for our kids. And those fast food places use really bad oils. Wrecks your metabolism. It's horrible for the brain. It's horrible for your immune system. So it's because of that. So I'm not anti, make some burgers, make some chips, find a really good, wholesome place to go. But I because I was a very overweight child and I was like, no, 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 no. And then my brother and sister sitting there eating everything. And I'm like with a carrot stick. It really created my eating disorders. No disrespect to my parents. I didn't know. Everyone's skinny except for me back then. Now I'm the skinny one of my brothers and sisters are chubby. So anyway, it's funny how life turns out. God bless them, just being cheeky. But I just think, have your fun. And, say to the kids, we're going to eat healthy during the week. Okay, it's treat day. Who's going to choose? Our kids take turns. Make it fun, make it a reward, make it normal. I had a child once and he had severe eczema and the parents never let him have anything. And we knew this child from the school and we invited them over for the birthday party. And this little kid literally went to the table with all the sweets and cookies, went under the tablecloth. We didn't see him for the whole party and he was just binge eating under the table, like heartbreaking. I mean, obviously found him. I didn't drop him in. I'm like, here's your goodie bag. Let's give you a chicken leg now and let's balance you out. Won't tell mama, come over here, But we can create obsessive compulsive issues with our children. Keep it light, keep it fun. Want to feel good, want to feel energized, want to feel good about our bodies. Our bodies are amazing. Love our wobbly bits. We teach our kids that as well. But balance and make it fun. Go out for treats. Keep your 5 days clean and maybe a treat on Saturday and a treat on Sunday.
I love it. We've had a quite a big question. I'm just reading through it. It's about a child who is small for his age.
Yep.
And is very aware of this. Mummy's asking whether we know there may be a growth spurt coming later. Any tips for dealing with his angst regarding being small and any nutritional tips? So,
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So once again, we need to make sure. So what I love to specialize in, I didn't go into too much today because to honor the time, is functional support. That's, I'm not good at many things, but I'm really good at that. You need to make sure your child's gut and digestive system is functioning. You could be giving the best food, trying to get organic and really trying to eat from the rainbow and all the different colors. But if your child is not absorbing and the digestive system is not working, your digestive system from your mouth to your bottom is the length of a football field. A lot can happen and not function correctly. You don't have to go and have endoscopies and make it, over the top and invasive. Good old-fashioned digestion. So I would say definitely looking at their gut function, using a probiotic, looking at if they're chewing and eating slowly, not putting liquids. So make sure the mechanics are working well. And if you need something specific with that, I can help you with that. So make sure they're absorbing. It may be that their gut, they're naturally running low in hydrochloric acid in their gut and they're eating a lot, but it's not delivering to the cell. It's literally just passing up the other side. So number one, gut function. Number two, you want to be really big on their amino acid. Amino acids, there's 9 essential. There's many more, but there's 9 which are essential. So you want to make sure you're proactive in getting the essential. Now, if your child's not digesting very well and you're just giving meat, great. You've got all the full amino acids, but
not sure if everyone else is having a problem there, but I know on my side, I don't know if my backstage crew could just tell me if they're struggling. It feels like we might have lost Dr. Simone again. Let me just check. She's gone. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to finish off by saying thank you. I'm sure she won't mind. I'll be seeing her on Monday, and I hope as many of you as possible could join us. It is 8:30 Monday at the Lobster Lounge, Jumeirah Stadiat. I've just had Angela confirm that for me. We've got lots of questions about how can we reverse the damage that we've already done. I know I'll be asking a few about aging. I'm sure that's a concern one or two of us have as well. Thank you. It's sticking. Thank you, Sophie. But yeah, she's going to be there, and is ready and open to talk to us about how we can best support our families, and ourselves. So I just want to say this is our final talk of the year. I did miss Dr. Hadi when I was doing my run through of the year, and I do apologise if he is out there. I know he's a huge supporter of the school, so I did just want to say thank you, because I know he talked a lot about sleep and things like that. So I just want to say to all of you, have a wonderful summer. It's been wonderful for me working this year at Cranley, and I'm really looking forward to next year. Thank you to the CCC and to all the members who've done so much this year to help support our community. And, we have big plans for next year. As many live face-to-face coffee mornings and talks as we can to let's rebuild that sense of community and normality. We will be doing a few of these live online talks. If you do have something that you would like to say to our community, if you're an expert in an area, or if you have a topic that you would like to know more about, then just send me an email, let me know, and we can work together and do our best to make sure that we are all as informed. So thank you so much to Dr. Simone. Thank you to all of you. Have a wonderful summer. Stay safe, and we will see you all again, hopefully back here end of August, beginning of September. Nice to see you all. Bye.